Hi everyone, welcome back to Life in the Crapper with Zach. Today is the third part, hopefully final part of my personal story with inflammatory bowel disease. Last time we concluded with me getting back from Michigan and in the emergency room in Nevada, and that wonderful process, and that spurred my family to encourage me to find some second and third opinions from experts. But before we talk about that, I want to talk a little bit about some alternative treatments that you'll see featured in future videos. Now, back around the time that I mentioned in the last video, around February, when it seemed the conventional treatments weren't working, I started looking into other treatments. When you spend most of your day in the bathroom or near the bathroom, you know, your phone becomes your constant companion, or your laptop. And so basically the last year and a half, when I haven't been able to go out and do things or lead a normal life, I've been researching this disease. And so I've learned a lot about it in that time. And there's some fringe therapies out there that sound ridiculous and sound crazy, but have actually helped a lot of people. Because the thing with the traditional therapies right now is they treat the inflammation. They treat the symptoms. They don't really get at the cause of Crohn's, and it's believed that it's not just a genetic thing. There is a genetic component to it, but there's an environmental and part of it, and a trigger. Because you'll see in third world countries where there's not a lot of development, IBD is almost unheard of. But in industrialized nations, especially in the last 100 years, that's where the rise of inflammatory bowel diseases have occurred. So there is, people are genetically predisposed to it, but there's an environmental cause. And one of those may be bacteria. And then there's another theory out there that says it's the hygiene hypothesis. They say in these industrialized nations, we've gotten rid of all the good parasites. You know, the human body has evolved to live in harmony with some parasites, and if we get rid of them, which places like the US have done in the last 100 years, well then the immune system can go all wonky. So one of the therapies I found out was helminthic worm therapy, and the idea with this is kind of similar to probiotics, which are picking up in popularity now. And what this, a man who had terrible asthma, crippling asthma, went over to Africa and walked around near latrines barefooted and picked up a human hookworm. And then within a couple months, his allergy symptoms went away. And so he actually started a therapy clinic in California a few years ago, where he would offer whipworm and hookworm to patients suffering from autoimmune related diseases. And unfortunately, the government shut him down because they said you're prescribing a drug even though it's a living organism. And so now there's a place that offers whipworm and hookworm therapy out of London, and there's another out of Mexico. And so it sounds crazy, but when you've tried everything else and you're still in pain, you can't live a normal life, you're willing to try anything. So I got in contact with autoimmune therapies in London, and I ordered hookworm and whipworm, and over the summer I infected myself with these. Now the thing is, it sounds crazy, but they're in such small doses that even the Center for Disease Control counts them as negligible. They don't even treat to take care of these amounts of hookworm, because it's so light that there's absolutely no long-term negative effects. Now the initial dosing, you will see a little bit more diarrhea and effects like that, but that's about it. Otherwise, you keep on living life and you don't even know they're there. So I am at a point a couple months in where I'm starting to feel better, and that's usually how long it takes for the worms to start. And I'll have a video going into more detail, but I started that treatment over the summer. Now another treatment that has come about, that's seen a lot of popularity in ulcerative colitis, is fecal bacterial transplants, or fecal bacterial therapy, or fecal transplants. And this one is a little bit even more divisive, because what it is, it's taking healthy poop from a donor and putting it into the sick person. And this actually got its start in veterinarian science, because they do it with farm animals. And what would happen is it's basically the ultimate probiotic. It takes the healthy bacteria, repopulates the sick stomach with the sick animal's intestines with healthy bacteria. And so that's another one I'll talk about that I've done to a certain extent. There's a lot of precautions you have to take. I've also seen therapeutic effects from that. If you're not grossed out yet, there's something that's not so gross, but it's related to one of the specialists I saw, and related to the fecal transplants, because they believe the cause of Crohn's could be this bacteria, called this MAP bacteria that I referenced back in my second video when I posed a question at the end of the day, at the end of it. And these triple antibiotics can actually go after the bacteria itself and address the cause. I'll talk about that in a future video more so. But anyway, so I've been exploring all these other therapies when I had that emergency room scare here in Nevada. And that's when my parents said, you need to go seek out an expert. So I went to Cedars-Sinai in LA, saw Dr. Targan, who's the head of the IBD Center there, been doing it for 50 years. Just excellent, excellent man. The service was great, everyone was really kind and fantastic, and basically said, okay, you need to get off all these other therapies, because right now you're on a million things and we need to simplify. We can prescribe you more Humira if that's what's going to be needed. He said we can do this test to basically see whether you have, examine your inflammatory markers to see whether you do have ulcerative colitis or whether you have Crohn's. He said, because just because you had inflammation higher up, it doesn't necessarily mean you have Crohn's, because what happened is maybe the medications you were on healed this patch of inflammation here, and so it looks like a skip, but it's really not. So he said, we need to do some more tests. I said, awesome. So I'm still kind of waiting to hear on the results from that. Then the next week we went up to Montana to see one of the few doctors who are prescribing the triple antibiotic therapy for Crohn's. Now, unfortunately, he needed to do a colonoscopy too. It's unfortunate because I didn't want to do a third one within like the span of a year. But he got up there and he said it actually looks pretty healthy. And I saw the pictures and it's the best it's looked in a year. But the thing that I was a little disappointed in is that he said, you may not have Crohn's. He said, I think this evidence for Crohn's is really thin. He said, I'm going to say indeterminate, and I'm even leaning towards ulcerative colitis. Now, that made me a little sad because at this point, I thought I had Crohn's based on the last colonoscopy. And if I had Crohn's, that meant I could get the triple antibiotic therapy, because the science now suggests that this MAP bacteria is what causes Crohn's, but they're not so sure that it causes ulcerative colitis. So basically, I don't get to do that therapy because it's not sure that I have Crohn's. And yet there are some people out there who think they have ulcerative colitis, and years later the disease rears its head again, and in such a way that's like, oh, it's definitely Crohn's. So I'm a little disappointed because I don't get to do the triple antibiotic therapy, but at the same time I'm getting better, somewhat. Fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx it, but I hope it's because the worms are starting to have their therapeutic effect. And I'm starting to taper down on the prednisone I've been on. Hopefully methotrexate I've been on. They prescribed that to me at the last post-emergency room visit, which is just an immunosuppressor, and Humira. So we'll just that kind of brings me to where I am, tapering off prednisone, tapering off methotrexate, maybe doing more Humira and seeing how the worms work. So now hopefully for the next few videos I'll be able to describe everything in more detail. All the medications, all the diets, and all the alternative therapies, how to do them and what to expect. So I hope I haven't been too boring as I tell my own story, but now you kind of know that I've been through the ringer and I have an idea what I'm talking about. I'm no expert, I'm definitely no medical expert, but I've done it, and so hopefully my mistakes and my experiences can help some of you out there. Right, so I love you all, good health.